If you're following the crowd, you've already lost yourself. Most people spend their entire lives walking in circles, chasing things they don't even want, becoming copies of copies. But there's a different path, one that only a few dare to take. Right now, at this very moment, you're standing at a crossroads. One path is worn down, filled with footprints of millions who walked before you. It's comfortable, predictable, and safe. The other path, it's barely visible, covered in uncertainty, and most people will tell you it leads nowhere. But here's what they won't tell you. The man who walks beyond the crowd isn't running away from people. He's running towards something far more valuable, his own truth, his own existence, his own power. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why walking beyond the crowd isn't just a choice. It's a necessity for anyone who wants to live a life that actually means something. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision that was completely yours? Not influenced by what your parents wanted, not shaped by what society expected, not molded by what your friends thought was cool. Just you making a choice based on what you truly wanted. For most people, that question is terrifying because they realize they can't remember. They've been on autopilot for so long that they don't even know who they are anymore. We live in a world that's obsessed with fitting in. From the moment you're born, you're given a script. Go to school, get good grades, find a stable job, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire, and then die. Nobody questions it. Nobody asks if this is actually what they want. They just follow along because everyone else is doing it. And here's the problem with that. When you follow the crowd, you're not living your life. You're living a collective hallucination, a shared dream that someone else programmed into you. The crowd operates on fear. Fear of being different, fear of being judged, fear of being alone. So people shrink themselves to fit into boxes that were never meant for them. They kill their dreams before they even start because someone told them it wasn't practical. They silence their inner voice because it doesn't match the noise around them. And year after year, they wake up feeling empty, wondering why success doesn't feel successful, why achievement doesn't feel like achievement, why they have everything they're supposed to want, but still feel like something's missing. The chosen man, the one who walks beyond the crowd, he's chosen not because he's special or gifted or lucky. He's chosen because he chose himself. He looked at the path everyone was walking and said, "That's not my path." He felt the pressure to conform and said, "I'd rather be authentic than accepted." He heard the voices telling him to play it safe and said, "I'd rather risk everything than guarantee a life of mediocrity." But walking beyond the crowd comes with a price. And that price is something most people aren't willing to pay. The weight of other people's expectations. The first thing you need to understand is that other people's expectations are chains disguised as guidance. When you're young, everyone has an opinion about what you should do with your life. Your parents want you to be successful, which usually means stable and safe. Your teachers want you to follow the rules. Your friends want you to stay on their level because your growth makes them uncomfortable. And society wants you to be a productive consumer who doesn't ask too many questions. These expectations accumulate over time. They pile on top of each other until you can't even feel them anymore. You just carry this invisible weight and you adjust your entire life around it. You choose careers you don't care about because they make other people proud. You stay in relationships that drain you because leaving would disappoint someone. You hide your true thoughts because expressing them might upset the balance. And slowly, without even noticing, you become a stranger to yourself. The man who walks beyond the crowd understands something crucial. He understands that you can spend your entire life trying to meet other people's expectations and still never be enough. Because expectations aren't about you. They're about the person who has them. Your parents' expectations are shaped by their fears and their regrets. Your friends' expectations are shaped by their insecurities. Society's expectations are shaped by systems that benefit from your compliance. When you start walking your own path, you'll feel the pull. People will try to bring you back, not because they don't love you, but because your independence threatens their comfort. Your courage exposes their fear. Your authenticity highlights their pretending. And instead of being inspired by you, many will try to convince you that you're making a mistake. They'll use words like responsible, realistic, and practical. But what they really mean is, Don't remind me that I gave up on myself. This is where most people turn back. They can't handle the guilt of disappointing others. They can't handle being called selfish for choosing themselves. They can't handle the loneliness that comes with walking a path that nobody else understands. So they return to the crowd, and they tell themselves it's the right thing to do. But deep down, they know they traded their soul for approval. The chosen man pays the price. He accepts that some people will misunderstand him. He accepts that some relationships will end. He accepts that walking beyond the crowd means walking alone sometimes. But he also knows that the weight of other people's expectations is nothing compared to the weight of living a life that isn't yours. The illusion of security in numbers. There's a reason why crowds are so appealing. They offer the illusion of security. When everyone is doing the same thing, it feels safe. If everyone is working the same jobs, chasing the same goals, buying the same things, then it must be right. Right? Wrong. The crowd isn't proof of truth, it's proof of conditioning. Think about it. Throughout history, crowds have been wrong about almost everything that mattered. Crowds once believed the earth was flat. Crowds once accepted slavery as normal. Crowds once thought women shouldn't vote. The crowd isn't wise. The crowd is comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of truth. When you walk with the crowd, you're protected from judgment because you're doing what everyone else is doing, but you're also protected from growth. You're protected from discovering who you actually are. You're protected from the uncomfortable questions that lead to real understanding. The crowd doesn't encourage you to think deeply, it encourages you to think collectively, and collective thinking is just another word for not thinking at all. The man who walks beyond the crowd sees through this illusion. He understands that security in numbers isn't real security. It's just shared fear. It's just a group of people holding hands while they walk off a cliff, taking comfort in the fact that at least they're not alone. But the cliff is still there. The fall is still coming. And when reality hits, the crowd won't save you. Real security doesn't come from doing what everyone else is doing. Real security comes from knowing yourself so deeply that external circumstances can't shake you. It comes from building a life based on your values, not society's values. It comes from trusting your inner compass even when everyone around you is pointing in a different direction. This doesn't mean the man who walks beyond the crowd is always confident. He doubts himself too. He questions his choices. He wonders if he's making a mistake. But here's the difference. His doubts come from within, not from without. He's wrestling with his own uncertainty, not other people's fear. And that internal struggle, as uncomfortable as it is, that's where real growth happens. The crowd will tell you that you need them. They'll make you feel like leaving means losing. But the truth is, you don't lose anything real by walking beyond the crowd. You only lose the illusion. And losing an illusion is the first step to finding reality. The discovery of your own rhythm. Here's something nobody talks about. When you walk with the crowd, you're forced to move at the crowd's pace. And the crowd's pace isn't your pace. It's too fast in some areas and too slow in others. The crowd rushes you when you need time. The crowd holds you back when you're ready to run. And because you're so busy keeping up or slowing down, you never discover your own natural rhythm. Every person has a unique rhythm, a natural flow that's specific to them. Some people are early bloomers. Some people are late bloomers. Some people need to explore 10 different things before they find their calling. Some people know exactly what they want from day one. There's no right or wrong here. There's only your rhythm and everyone else's. The man who walks beyond the crowd gives himself permission to move at his own pace. He doesn't compare his chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. He doesn't feel rushed by arbitrary timelines that society created. He understands that life isn't a race where everyone starts at the same time and ends at the same place. Life is a personal journey, and personal journeys can't be measured by collective standards. This is liberating once you truly understand it. It means you can take your time learning something even if everyone else seems to get it faster. It means you can move quickly toward your goals even if people tell you to slow down and enjoy the process. It means you can change directions without feeling like you wasted time because you weren't moving at your own pace before. But discovering your rhythm requires silence. It requires stepping away from the noise of the crowd long enough to hear your own heartbeat. The crowd is loud. The crowd is constant. The crowd fills every moment with opinions and judgments and expectations. And as long as you're surrounded by that noise, you'll never hear yourself. This is why solitude is so important for the man who walks beyond the crowd. Not isolation, but solitude. Time alone with his own thoughts. Time to reflect without interference. Time to feel his own energy without absorbing everyone else's. In that silence, he discovers things about himself that the crowd would never let him see. He discovers what he actually enjoys, not what he's supposed to enjoy. He discovers what he actually values, not what he's supposed to value. He discovers who he actually is, not who he's supposed to be. And once you discover your rhythm, once you start moving through life at your own pace, something magical happens. You stop feeling like you're behind. You stop feeling like you're rushing. You stop feeling like you're competing. You just move naturally, powerfully, in alignment with yourself. And that alignment, that harmony between who you are and how you live, that's what the crowd can never give you. The power of walking alone. Let's address the elephant in the room. Walking beyond the crowd is lonely, at least at first. When you stop doing what everyone else is doing, when you stop going where everyone else is going, when you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you'll find yourself alone more often. And that scares people. We're social creatures. We're wired for connection. The idea of being alone feels like punishment. But here's what the crowd doesn't understand. There's a massive difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is a physical state. Being lonely is an emotional state. You can be surrounded by people and feel desperately lonely. And you can be completely alone and feel deeply connected to yourself and to life. The man who walks beyond the crowd learns to embrace solitude. Not because he hates people, but because he values authenticity over company. He'd rather be alone and real than surrounded and fake. He understands that superficial connections drain you while deep solitude restores you. He knows that the crowd offers quantity of relationships, but walking alone offers quality of self. In solitude, you become your own best friend or your own worst enemy. There's no one to distract you from yourself, no one to blame for your problems, no one to validate your excuses. It's just you facing you, and that confrontation, as uncomfortable as it is, that's where transformation happens. Because you can't change what you won't face, and you can't face yourself when you're constantly hiding in the crowd. Walking alone also gives you clarity. When you're in the crowd, everything is mixed together. Everyone's problems become your problems. Everyone's drama becomes your drama. Everyone's energy becomes your energy. It's impossible to think clearly when you're carrying the weight of 100 different perspectives. But when you walk alone, you can hear yourself think. You can process your own experiences without immediate input from others. You can form your own opinions before they're influenced by popular opinion. This doesn't mean the man who walks beyond the crowd never connects with others. It means he connects differently. He doesn't need people, he chooses people. He doesn't collect relationships to feel validated. He builds relationships that are genuine. And because he's comfortable with himself, he attracts others who are also comfortable with themselves. The connections that form on this path aren't based on fear or need or habit. They're based on recognition. When two people who've both walked beyond the crowd meet, they recognize each other. They don't need to explain themselves. They don't need to pretend. They just connect deeply because they're both real. So yes, walking beyond the crowd means walking alone sometimes. But it also means that when you do connect with others, those connections mean something. They're not just surface-level interactions to pass the time. They're meetings of minds, of souls, of people who chose themselves and respect others who did the same. The responsibility of living your truth. Here's the final piece that most people don't want to hear. Walking beyond the crowd isn't just about freedom, it's about responsibility. When you choose your own path, you become responsible for everything that happens on that path. You can't blame society anymore. You can't blame your parents. You can't blame your circumstances. You chose this, and that choice comes with weight. The man who walks beyond the crowd accepts this responsibility. He understands that freedom and responsibility are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. When you give up your freedom to the crowd, you also give up your responsibility. It's not your fault if things go wrong because you were just following everyone else. But when you walk your own path, everything becomes your fault. Every decision, every outcome, every consequence, it's all on you. This is scary. It's much easier to let the crowd decide for you. It's much easier to have someone else to blame when things don't work out. But it's also empty. When you let others control your life, you also give them credit for your life. Your successes aren't really yours. Your happiness isn't really yours. Your existence isn't really yours. You're just a passenger in someone else's vehicle. The chosen man would rather carry the weight of responsibility than live without ownership of his life. He'd rather fail on his own terms than succeed on someone else's. He understands that mistakes made while walking your own path are more valuable than victories achieved while following the crowd. Because those mistakes teach you something real. They're yours. They shape you. They make you stronger. Living your truth also means accepting that your path won't make sense to everyone. In fact, it won't make sense to most people. The crowd operates on logic that's designed to keep everyone together. Your truth operates on logic that's designed to set you free. These two logics don't always align. And when they don't, you'll be called crazy, reckless, selfish, or foolish. The man who walks beyond the crowd doesn't argue with these labels. He doesn't need to prove himself. He just keeps walking. There's a certain peace that comes with this. When you stop trying to make everyone understand you, when you stop seeking approval for your choices, when you stop justifying your existence to people who will never get it, you free up so much energy. Energy that was wasted on explanation can now be used for creation. Energy that was wasted on defense can now be used for growth. Energy that was wasted on fitting in can now be used for becoming. So here's the moment of truth. Everything we've talked about, all of this understanding, all of this wisdom, it means nothing if you don't act on it. Because knowing that you should walk beyond the crowd and actually doing it are two completely different things. Most people will watch this, nod along, agree with everything, and then go right back to following the crowd. Why? Because the gap between knowing and doing is where courage lives, and courage is rare. The chosen man isn't chosen because he knows more than everyone else. He's chosen because he acts despite his fear. He feels the same uncertainty you feel. He experiences the same doubt you experience. He faces the same pressure you face, but he walks anyway. He takes the step even when he can't see where it leads. He trusts himself even when he has no proof that he should. This is the moment where you decide, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect, right now. You decide if you're going to keep living a life that looks good on paper but feels empty inside, or if you're going to risk everything for a chance to live a life that's actually yours. You decide if you're going to keep seeking approval from people who don't even approve of themselves, or if you're going to give yourself the approval to exist on your own terms. The path beyond the crowd isn't easy. It's not meant to be. Easy paths lead to easy lives, and easy lives are forgotten the moment they end. The path beyond the crowd is difficult, uncertain, and often lonely, but it's also real, it's also alive, it's also worth it. Because at the end of that path, you don't just find success or happiness or peace, you find yourself, the real you, the version of you that was always there but got buried under layers of expectations and fear and conditioning. And once you find that person, once you meet yourself for the first time, everything changes. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you've felt. You can't go back to pretending. The crowd loses its power over you because you've tasted something they'll never taste as long as they stay together. You've tasted freedom, real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to be whoever you are. Walking beyond the crowd isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being true to yourself. The crowd isn't evil. The people in it aren't bad. They're just asleep. They're living unconsciously, following patterns that were set long before they were born. And there's a certain comfort in that. But comfort and fulfillment are not the same thing. You can be comfortable and completely disconnected from your purpose. You can be safe and completely dead inside. The man who walks beyond the crowd chooses discomfort over disconnection. He chooses uncertainty over unconsciousness. He chooses his truth over their comfort. And in doing so, he doesn't just change his own life. He gives permission to others to do the same. Because when people see someone living authentically, walking their own path, refusing to shrink themselves to fit in, it awakens something in them. It reminds them that they have a choice too. You are standing at that crossroads right now. One path is clear, well-traveled, and filled with people who will welcome you as long as you look like them, think like them, and act like them. The other path is barely visible. It's covered in fog. You can't see where it goes, but you can feel it calling you. That voice inside that keeps whispering there's more to life than this. That feeling that shows up at 3 in the morning when you're alone with your thoughts. That knowing that you're meant for something different, something real, something yours. The chosen man walks beyond the crowd, not because the crowd rejected him, but because he rejected the version of himself that the crowd required him to be. And that rejection, that refusal to live a borrowed life, that's what makes him chosen. He chose himself when everyone else was choosing comfort. He chose growth when everyone else was choosing safety. He chose truth when everyone else was choosing acceptance. If this resonated with you, subscribe, because there's more to explore on this path.